Hi, my name is Kelly Atkinson.
Hi, my name is Marley Ray.
Hey there, my name is Isabel, and I'm an East Coast and destination wedding photographer.
And I'm a freelance photographer.
I'm a freelance photographer. Hi, my name is Kelly Atkinson. I'm a freelance photographer. I got my first camera in 2020, Christmas. I had a friend in high school who did photography. He asked me to do some modeling shots for him. That was my first exposure to anything photography. Eventually, over the years, I started pursuing it more. I started asking my friends to do photo shoots with me. I started taking pictures of my friends who had boyfriends, doing couples photo shoots. Didn't ask for any money or anything, just trying to learn as much as I could. I started really liking it. Into college, I updated my gear, bought my own different camera, different lenses, things like that, and really started to pursue it. So just a lot of opportunities started opening up, a lot of doors opening up, and I just realized I really had a love for it, and I really love seeing people's reactions to the pictures, especially when I do portraits, with family and things like that. It's just so much fun seeing their reactions, oh, it looks so good. Makes me really happy. I do mainly portraits. I do a lot of family things. I do couples, graduation, things like that. I have a Canon R10. I have 3 lenses. My first one, the first one I bought was a 50mm. Still one of my favorites. I just bought a 24mm, and I have, a 15 to 85mm. I use Adobe Lightroom because at Liberty I get it for free. Before that, I was using off-brand things. There was one called Darkroom that was free because I could get it for free. It wasn't very good, but it was what I could do in high school. But now in college, I can use Adobe, which is great. So as a Christian creator, photographer, I am really pursuing the Lord and what He wants for me in my future. And I don't know what my life is going to look like using photography in the future. I'm really waiting on God to tell me what to do with it. So I'm relying on Him of how to use it. I love production. In the middle, taking the photos itself is the best part, especially working with family or couples, people specifically. It's really fun to work with them in the moment, and post-production is also really fun. I spend a lot of time editing, and sometimes it can take a long time, get a little boring, because I'm working on the same photo for a few hours with the lighting and everything. But I still love seeing what I took turn into something after post, into something really, really beautiful. There's a photo I love that I took for the Champion newspaper. It's for a race in downtown Lynchburg. It's of a runner going past people watching the race, and this girl is holding a Run Strong sign, and the exact moment I captured it was just perfect. He was a guy running right before the sign, and I look at it now and was like, that was just perfect timing. If I didn't right place, right time, there's people laughing, really looking really excited in the background, and it's just I don't know, the composition just makes me happy. Man, I caught that. I caught that moment. That's really cool. When I think the word young creatives, I think of young adults passionate about something they love, about being creative, about putting things in the world, influencing the world with what they do. I don't know, it makes me kind of happy to think about young creatives. This young generation is trying to make an impact or trying to make something of themselves, make something into the world. My advice would be to learn as much as possible, find people who you can learn from, watch YouTube videos, find someone in your field that you can contact, make connections with people, and the doors will open, and the Lord will provide ways for you to pursue it if that's what He has for you, and just learn as much as possible. Gear is not everything. If you have the money and you want to use it, go for it, but hone your skills. I have a business card. If you scan the QR code, it goes to a link of all my different links for my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook, YouTube link to my videography stuff. Do a little bit of that. There's some sample photos that I've done. My main ways, there's my photography Instagram. I have an inquiry link to submit a form for an inquiry if this is what I would like to do photos with you, here's some information about it, and then I can get back to you about it. Working on a website, in the works. I don't know what the future holds. Leaning on the Lord, waiting for the Lord in that of what He wants me to do and how to go about it. I would love to use it in ministry somehow. I want to serve people with it, so it's whatever the Lord has for me.
Hi, my name is Marley Ray, and I'm a freelance photographer. I started photography probably when I was like 10 or 11. I got my first camera. My parents bought it for me. It was like a Canon, I don't remember what model it was. And I kind of just played around with it. And then I started doing a lot of photography on my phone. And I just kind of have taken pictures ever since. I love candid photography, so that's kind of like what I do. I definitely do a lot of portraits. I love taking pictures of other people. I don't love landscapes just because I like something to really focus on. So I love taking pictures of people's work. I love doing portfolio shoots. I just love people, so I like to photograph that whenever I can. I use mostly just a camera. I don't use any lighting. I use like the little diffuser circle thing that like pops out, but that's about it. Just me and my camera. I use Lightroom. I love Lightroom. That's like the first thing I ever used, so I just know how to whip around Lightroom, so that's what I use. Sometimes I use just raw pictures, which I know is crazy, but most of the time I put it in Lightroom. It's using natural daylight, especially if it's harsh daylight. That's always a struggle. Sometimes I'll like schedule a shoot and hope there's clouds and there's no clouds. So I have to figure out a way to like get around the sunlight, which is always interesting. But it's kind of a fun challenge. My faith impacts my photography. I just love God's creation and people are God's creation. So I love to photograph that. Like candid stuff is just one of my favorite things ever, because you have people in their natural habitat that they're just going about their day, and there's just so much beauty in that. I love that. My faith, that's kind of how my faith impacts my photography. My favorite part's probably the shoot itself. I love that process of just taking pictures with people and having the conversations with people while they're taking pictures, whether they're comfortable in front of the camera or not. I love talking to people while I'm taking pictures of them and like getting them to laugh, and it's always really fun. That part is definitely my favorite because I'm a really big people person, so I love that part. My favorite picture is probably the one I took of my friend Haley. It's honestly just very like simple. I love it because of the color contrast. There's like pink and a lot of green. It was also one of the first shoots that I started to do photography like manually on the camera settings, which was something I had never really done before just because I never really focused on it. So I played around with like the lighting and everything. So it was definitely one of the first shoots. It was taken a few years ago, but I really love just the contrast and like just the way that my friend is smiling in the picture too. I just love it. It's one of my favorites. I love photography because it tells a story and it tells where you've been. So my future hope is just to keep doing it because I love it and use it to kind of share my life and what I do. Taking risks, risk taker, if that's a word. 2 words. Probably just because there's so many different styles, and I feel like especially my generation of young people love to just play around with pictures and do a lot of random crazy stuff, and I love how everyone's style comes out through that. So probably risk taker. I think wisdom and age and being in something for a really long time definitely gives people more respect for others who have more years on their belt of things that they do. But I also feel like when you're young and you're new at something, you have a perspective that people who have been in it for a really long time don't have. Go out and take pictures. Don't try to find the perfect location. Don't try to have the perfect camera, even if it's just your phone. Just go out and take pictures, because half the time, if it's something that you're really good at, nobody's gonna be able to tell if you planned it or not. And you also get better at things the more you do them. So definitely just go out and do it and don't think about it, because if you think about it, then you'll never do it. I would say probably Instagram is my main form of communication when it comes to pictures at the moment. I have like portfolios through Adobe, but definitely Instagram. Instagram's like my main source of where I put things, just because it's fun and I like the little squares.
Hey there, my name is Isabel and I'm an East Coast and destination wedding photographer. So I started photography my freshman year of college, which was 2 years ago. I had the honor of rooming with a super incredible girl who was 4 years older than me, and so she was in a different stage of life. She was getting engaged over Christmas break, and I knew that I wanted to give her something meaningful to celebrate her engagement. And so as I was praying on what to give her, I wanted it to be meaningful, and the Lord just kind of gave me the idea of, Isabel, what if you buy a $500 camera and then give her photos as an engagement gift? And so I did, and then it just took off from there, and I've been honored to capture so many more sweet moments since then. So I would describe my style as warm, candid, authentic. My biggest word in my branding is authentic. I want all of my photos to feel like my clients, and I wanted to tell their story. With that, I shoot weddings, elopements, engagements, proposals, families, branding, maternity, all the things. So I'm happy to tell my client stories in any way that I can. Some of the challenges that I faced in photography, I would say one of the biggest ones is just not having necessarily anyone teach me. I've never taken a photography class, I've never taken a business class, and so all of this is self-taught and just learned through trial and error, through YouTube, and through asking a few other people who are farther along in their journey to help me. But as a whole, it can feel kind of lonely sometimes to be the sole proprietor of your business and just to be making all the calls as a photographer, because I don't have any employees or coworkers. But as much as I face those challenges, I still love photography and I love what I do, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I would say photography has impacted my faith just in the fact that I am so much more observant and so much more appreciative of the Lord's beauty and just the way that He has woven His beauty into every single aspect of our lives, from our stories to relationships to even His creation. It's just so beautiful that we get to see a glimpse of heaven every single day when we see the sun rise up in the morning, when we see a man and a woman come together in marriage on their wedding day, when we see a family welcome a newborn into their family. Just so many beautiful moments that have really impacted and grown my faith and appreciation for the beauty that the Lord has created the world with. And my faith is absolutely the foundation of my photography business and truly everything that I do in life. I believe that God has given us a story to tell, and I think that it's a beautiful story. And all the good parts, the low parts, the highs and the lows, He's given all of these moments in our stories for His glory. And so I just love being a part of other people's stories and capturing those sweet memories that will last a lifetime. In pre-production, I just love getting to talk with my brides and grooms about their vision for their wedding day. I love that every single wedding is different and so unique to the couple. And so I just love planning with them, getting super giddy and excited, and just helping to prepare and plan the best for their wedding day, so that way it's a super easy, relaxing wedding day, and that we're really prepared so that it's very streamlined and they can be present with the people that they love most on their special day. And then on the wedding day, I love partying it up with all of my couples on the dance floor, and I also just love being a part of those sweet moments, the first looks, the vows, all the sweet moments. I just love experiencing it with them, and it's truly just such a joy and an honor. And then in post-production, I love gifting them 48-hour previews from their wedding day right after their wedding day, so that they have something super sweet to look back on from their wedding day while they're on their honeymoon, and that they can share with family and friends. So my favorite image that I've ever taken is one that I took last February, and it was super sweet. It was a really sweet couple session that I did for one of my friends and her boyfriend, and it was like just the best time ever. I can't even tell you how many times we laughed throughout that whole shoot. We just had the best time, and it was a shoot that I really mark as one of the ones that grew me as a photographer in just editing and in posting and in all the different aspects of photography. But not only just that, just the experience of it. I genuinely just remember going home that night and telling all of my friends, like, guys, I just had the best couple shoot ever. And I think that this is what I love. Like, I think I found my passion. And so I truly just credit that whole photo shoot to something really, really special in my career. So when I hear the word young creative, I automatically just think of a young 20-year-old or so college student who is just obsessed and passionate with life and with art and wants to be creative and just use the gifts and talents that God has given them for His glory and just to showcase all the beauty that is in the world. It can be really hard for young creatives to get their foot in the door and be passionate about what they do and have opportunities for that. But as a whole, I've really loved being a young creative, and I'm really grateful that I've started so young because I feel like I can grow a lot more in the next few years. I think my biggest advice to any young photographer who's just starting out would truly just to be confident and content with where you're at. I think one of the biggest things that I have learned in my own career is that every single moment there needs to be preparation for. And so I think as young creatives, we automatically just get so excited about all the big moments, like a destination wedding or booking your first wedding or booking your first elopement. And all of those are such phenomenal opportunities, but our hands, they have to be strong enough to hold them. And so I would just encourage all of young creatives just to really lean in to those pivotal moments of just strengthening those foundations so that way you can be ready for those big moments when they come. I would love to continue growing it. I absolutely love Hannah Lee photography. She's one of the photographers that I look up to. So I would love to get to the point where I shoot weddings and I take on a less number of clients every year so that I can really focus and pour into them and just give them my best. I would love to get to the point where I only take on 10 weddings a year and give them exceptional, unforgettable experiences, and also just grow as a wedding photographer. I would love to do destination weddings, work along all the East Coast. I love traveling, so I would happily go anywhere to capture a sweet moment for my clients. You can find me on Instagram at Captured by Issa Photography, and I also have a website that's in my bio there, and I would love to chat.